My name is Michael Hurworth. We were the structural and civil engineers on the SAFT cold storage facility, and basically undertook the structural design and civil design. The building was designed as a cold storage facility, so the framing was done as a conventional steel column, girder and truss configuration, with girders, long span girders from gable to gable on a building of about 135 meters long, and then trusses spanning from side to side, from side wall to side wall, ranging from 27 to 20 meters. So there were some challenges in that the frames were off-grid, which was something that we had to deal with based on panel configuration and cold storage room size in the building. So the challenges with a building like this are more coordination than structure, but the structural challenges come out of the coordination in that one has to consider all the panel fixing. There's a myriad of panels within these structures that have to be accommodated, and in the design we have to ensure that the insulation panels can get past the structure, can be attached to the structure, and that all the access ways, all the access walkways and the access stairs can be accommodated in the structure as well. And one of the biggest challenges is we need to get the structure up in such a way that the panels can be installed. So the connections become very tricky. So lots of plate connections, lots of flat bar connections where we can slide panels up into the structure and still get fixings to the structure. And some of the other challenges were to be able to fix the panels to the structure. So getting all the seating cleats at the correct heights, getting all the little nuts welded onto the columns, getting all the corner plates in the right positions and at the right heights were all part of the challenge. So a lot of detailed design for those sort of fixings were a challenging part of the structure. Because the structure has so many small components to it in terms of panel fixing details, panel fixing cleats, plates, very small elements that need to be very accurately positioned on columns, at the base of columns, underside of trusses, within trusses. So there were extensive fabrication drawings done. Then also, because the structure was off-grid, the connection details were very tricky. The fabrication of the trusses was also fast track in that we had to make sure that we had enough of the structure up to be able to clad and then install the panels at the same time. So there was a lot of overlap on the structure, and we had to ensure that any portion of the structure that went up that was vulnerable to wind loading was taken care of. So the fabrication was done in predefined blocks, predefined brace blocks, so that we could clad and install insulation panels while the structure was still being erected. I think this project really showed that steel is a wonderful medium to work with and to construct these types of buildings with, because of the amount of small detail that one can actually prefabricate with steel as opposed to concrete. Even precast concrete elements, you can't get all the small details onto the concrete elements as you can with steel. So when we designed the girders, the columns and the trusses, we could ensure that all the small details and all the small elements were prefabricated onto those bigger elements to be able to accommodate all of that. Now that's very difficult with any other medium, and that all has to be retrofitted and drilled and bolted in afterwards. It also gives you a certain amount of flexibility, if anything is missing, that it can relatively easily be post-fixed, either through a drill and bolt connection or a site weld connection. So just the forgiving nature of steel, the flexibility of steel, and the ability to pre-manufacture so much of it really demonstrates the beauty of that as a construction element. So often you design something and it's not really buildable. But in this project, everybody contributed through the design phase, through the fabrication phase, and through the erection phase to ensure that it was a seamless erection process and that all following trades had all the necessary elements that they needed. That sort of seamless cooperation that I think makes me proud of the project, because I think at the end of the day we actually got what we designed.